Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood. And welcome, good folks of Driftwood, to Good Morning Driftwood. It's me, Dirk Wiley, here with my lovely cohorts, Penelope MacGuffin.
Good morning.
And Bench PerDiem.
Good morning.
Oh, a couple of songbirds over here.
I'll be honest, when it started, I didn't know that's what was coming out of my face, but the music escaped.
It got very sing-songy, kind of old-timey ragtime sing-songy as well. Like, good morning.
Yeah, it was like it's like there was something, little song in my soul that just had to get out.
Aw, that's lovely.
Well, let it out. Anytime you have a
Let it
song
out.
in your soul, just let it out for the people. And I'm sure they'll accept you as you are. But I got some sad news for the people.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, it's out of the West Coast. The Starlight Hollow City Council has announced that they're shutting down the Moonrise Labyrinth.
No.
Yeah, that's right. A family favorite of Driftwood residents for generations. The labyrinth will be no more. It's particularly revered because nobody knows the origin of it. It's just always been there, and there are no records of its construction. It's said that the original settlers of Driftwood just found it in the same condition as it currently is, and that the hedge and plant life inside have never grown or died, and in fact cannot die or be cut. And the council, they're shutting it down. They're saying too many people never come out and are never found. And they now believe there's a portal somewhere inside the labyrinth. To me, that's just a Driftwood rite of passage. You know, some make it and some don't. That's life. What do we think?
I'm sorry. The council are upset that not enough people come out of a labyrinth. Like, isn't that the whole point of a labyrinth?
Yeah.
You don't go into the labyrinth to come out of the labyrinth.
To weed out the dunces.
Yeah, you go into a labyrinth to face a minotaur, to be killed by the minotaur, to go to the other plane. Like, isn't
A
that
labyrinth
the
is a
point
metaphor for life. If you can't make it out of the labyrinth, then how are you going to handle this life of ours?
If we wanted to get into a labyrinth and come out the other side, I just take a bus. What's the point?
If
They do have the bus stop for people who the labyrinth
Yeah.
is too overwhelming.
We're like, that's fine. If you're a coward, take the cowardly way. Which
You
is
just
bus.
called yourself a coward.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying if I were in that situation.
You would be
when
a coward.
you have been in the labyrinth, did you take the bus, though?
Yeah.
So you...
There you go.
Did you guys go in?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Been through it many
And you came
times.
out?
Yeah.
It's actually not that hard if you just keep following like the left turns.
Yeah, you just stay left.
Yeah.
Just go left every time.
I have a phobia of minotaurs.
Well, you got to get your phobias out of life.
I think I might be allergic.
Also, the Minotaur, I feel like most people have a phobia of Minotaurs.
Yeah.
No, that's
they're
specific to
very
me.
afraid. They're very fearful.
Yeah, they're not.
They're a scary thing.
They're not for hugs, they're for mauling.
It says that there's a sign on the entrance to the labyrinth that
Do
says
not hug the
Minotaurs are
Minotaurs."
not for hugs. Do not hug Minotaurs.
I feel
Also,
like
don't feed it.
Yeah,
Don't
they
be
eat
like
enough.
taking in snacks. They've got enough.
They eat
Yeah.
enough people.
And that's what happens as well. You give it the wrong kind of food, they get a little bit pudgier than they should be. It really ruins their ecological systems. Like, you can't just be feeding them anything. Like, no bread. Everyone thinks feed a minotaur bread. Don't take it your old bread.
Yeah,
Okay.
just feed it
protein
yourself.
based. Yeah, feed it your own legs and arms.
Yeah.
And that might satisfy it enough to let you leave, and then hopefully you don't get sucked into the portal.
Wait, so you guys made it through. Was there a portal?
Yeah.
Oh, where to?
I didn't.
You don't know. You
into
don't
it.
go in it.
Oh,
Why
you
would I
didn't
go
go?
into it?
Yeah, obviously that's why we're still here. If we
Yeah.
went into the portal, we wouldn't be here anymore, Ben.
So you made it all the way in the maze.
Yeah.
You faced the Minotaur.
It
I'm
looks
guessing.
like a black diamond
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
I
Yeah.
looked through it
People
and
initially
yeah.
thought that it was, just an interesting black diamond. Now they believe that it might be a portal.
Yeah.
And so retroactively, I'm assuming that must have been the portal, right?
I looked at it and I thought that much in the way that the color black is the absence of light. Like, that really felt like the absence of light, that
Yeah.
diamond. Like, that was a diamond that I went, oh, there's absolutely
It had no
light in
reflection.
this.
black hole.
Yeah, like, it was the darkest shade I've ever seen in my life. And at that point, I went, I don't need to know more. What, you want me to just like go into a portal, maybe end up in an alternative dimension, maybe, I don't know, future or past, have to warn people of an impending...
Yeah,
no,
you can
thank
you can end up in a
you.
bookcase.
Not on my weekend. Not on my weekend. I have enough stuff to do.
Yeah, you go into the labyrinth for a fun time and Minotaur fights. You don't go in there.
And facing your like fears and true self and all that.
Yeah, that's why you go into the labyrinth. Don't go into the labyrinth to piss off to some alternate dimension.
No.
I'm just not ready to face who I really am.
Also, I argue that if you go into the alternate dimension, you've not really completed the labyrinth because you never made it out of the other side. Yeah. You've, if anything, just like cheat coded the labyrinth.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's like an alternative Driftwood where there's an like a maze that people don't go into, they just come out of because they come out from that portal?
Good question.
Very likely.
It's a good question.
But why
Very
does it have to be? Maybe it's not a maze. Maybe it's just like where we have a labyrinth, they have, I don't know, like a coffee shop.
Could be.
You know?
And just a bunch of very confused baristas.
Hot Fast Earth.
And it's a shame
Indeed.
because
Hot Fast Dirt.
Hot Fast Dirt.
Hot Fast Dirt.
Hot Fast Dirt
it's
Cafe.
a real shame because then they're there and they feel awkward, like they have to buy something because you don't want to just like go in and not be
Yeah.
and
Like,
leave.
ooh, I didn't even
Like-
intend to be in this cafe.
Yeah, and if maybe they need to use the bathroom and then they'll feel like even more pressure that they have to buy
Which
something
they
from
probably
the cafe.
will have to use the bathroom to wipe the Minotaur blood off their faces.
Yeah.
Because you can't just show up in a cafe with a bunch of blood on you.
You at least
There will
want
be
to check.
questions.
You want to check your face for entrails.
Mhm.
For
Your own or others.
Your own or others. You don't know like whose there are, but either way, you want to just like check what you're playing with today before you
What
go
are you
in.
playing with?
What are you playing with?
Entrail-wise.
Before you go up and speak to the barista, because you don't want to be there and like looking at the shock, horror on their face.
So embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh God, I've done it once.
When
and
people
it was
notice you
like,
have entrails
bet
on you
they-
and you didn't.
Oh,
I bet they're used to it at this point.
At that cafe,
Yeah.
assuming there is a cafe.
This fictional cafe that
Yeah.
we're speculating about.
Indeed.
you think every time someone comes out, they're like, oh, another one.
Yeah.
If
One of these
anything,
folks.
if I worked in that cafe, I'd be like, oh, another person using a cheat code to get out of completing a labyrinth.
So you
That's what I'd be
said
thinking.
you
Another
went to that
coward.
cafe.
No. I
okay.
went to that.
Got it.
I was talking in a hypothetical
Yeah, This is
situation.
all
A what
purely
if.
No.
hypothetical speculation.
Different to your hypothetical situation with the bus because you actually did that one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mine was just a pure hypothetical.
Got
Indeed.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I'm glad that you've been practicing.
I have been.
Yeah, Bench is working on workshopping some catchphrases.
And for now, I'm sticking to the one that we all agreed on as the show's catchphrase, which is Indeed. Penny, you
I
didn't do
don't
it.
like to be forced into a catch. I think if it's
That's
I
fair.
Think, I think if you're
I respect
prompting
that,
it with a conductor's hand,
Then it's not coming about
That's why I
naturally.
don't believe orchestras are natural.
You have taken a hard anti-orchestra stance.
They're not natural.
I cannot hear you go off on your rant about tar again.
Like what I think of road surfaces is very different to what I think of orchestras. Okay, those are two very different things.
Yeah, Bench is just rattling off
I'm gonna let
your
you get
many
away with
different
this.
Yeah,
hard takes and
Hard
opinions.
takes.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
gonna let
just
you
think
get away with this because we all know how you feel about Lydia Tarr, famous composer.
I just think that orchestras are not natural because
conductor.
they wouldn't play together like that without someone prompting them for it.
A puppet master.
Yeah.
Now-
Are you are you really musicians if someone's explicitly telling you what to do all the time? I don't think that's how the Rolling Stones are. You're telling me someone tells Mick Jagger what to do with his voice? No way that man listens
He just goes for it.
or remembers
the
the
music.
information, I assume, at this state.
He's
and
just
age.
freestyle. You
Yeah.
see him every song when they
Yeah.
play live. He's just freestyling, rolling with it.
I assume Ronnie
And it
would
happens to be
Yeah.
the lyrics of the song that they're
usually,
all playing.
yeah, 99.9% of the time, he gets it.
Sometimes he just goes totally
Yeah.
off on his own.
Once he sang a real good version of Chapel Roan's Hot to Go, and I think it confused and alarmed everyone.
Over satisfaction.
Yeah.
Over the
They
back
kind of go, but like
the
it's like,
instrumentation
go
for
bash together, but it was fine.
it was clunky.
Yeah. I mean, you get some mashups, so you're like, that's perfect. This was not one of them. Not one of them.
Misstep Mick.
His when he started singing the Star Spangled Banner over also Satisfaction for some reason.
It's true. They played Satisfaction. I think the band got confused and just kept playing Satisfaction.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have to sing something else.
Mhm.
So he just started singing other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know who wasn't satisfactioned? The audience.
Indeed.
They
well
could get
said.
No.
That was natural to me. That was natural and perfect, the way you just
Yeah.
used indeed.
Ah, I didn't even realize it.
Yeah. See,
It was so natural, I
yeah.
didn't even realize that I had said indeed.
Yeah, I'm talking to you first chair violin. This is the attitude you should have.
Ooh,
Sorry, I was just putting on
the
some blast there.
condescension towards first chair violin.
I was
Wow.
just-
Maestros being put
Yeah.
on blast everywhere.
Just putting...
Putting maestros on blast.
Maestros, you on blast.
Oh, I felt I said everything I could say. Put me under a lot of pressure there to say more.
I think you've made
Now
your
I feel
stance
like I
clear.
just need to name them.
I feel like say one more thing.
Charlene Jenkins, you're on blast.
We can move on.
Indeed. And I think now that orchestras and conductors have been properly put in their place, we can move on to our first commercial break. And welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood. Bench, what do you have for us this sweet, sweet sunny morning?
Well, I got some.
Say something to make my heart sing, Bench.
We're all in a singing mood today.
Sing.
Sing, make my heart sing its sweet, sweet bird song.
I'm saying something to make you sing. Sing.
My
Because you're
heart,
prop to sing.
my heart sing.
Heart sing.
I don't think his heart is an Amazon Alexa.
Yeah.
I don't think you can
Heart.
just give a clear prompt
Play
like that.
sing.
It sounds like you're trying to hack into my brain somehow, like some sort of
Heart.
like
sing.
some code word that I've been hypnoptized to react to to this combination of words.
And you're saying it's not working.
It's not working.
Hey, there's so many subsections of your personality of Dirk as a concept. Maybe there's one that's an Alexa.
Maybe deep inside there's a sort of butler Dirk who will respond to these sorts of commands, but he doesn't happen to be here presently.
Not yet.
And you've not found out the correct grouping of words to make
Yes.
that happen.
We'll
And
get
if
to
you
it.
do find the correct grouping of random words, maybe one of these days he'll come out, but I can't know that for certain.
Maybe it's playing the Star Spangled Banner over Satisfaction.
Maybe.
Backwards.
Oh, I didn't.
That could have been the
Interesting.
key.
Well, we do have some exciting bit of news today. We have another big museum reopening. I feel like we've been having a lot of those in the last few months. A lot of museums on.
Hey, it's good
Driftwood
to
is
get-
museum crazy right now.
And it's good to get an opening after we just heard about a shutting.
True.
It's true. It's true.
Something for families to go to instead of the labyrinth.
Yeah. Well, this is a proper museum. Last night, of course, was a grand reopening of the Romulus Thaft Museum of Wet. The museum has been under renovations for the last 10 months for, quote, severe condensation issues, but it is now back and promises to be, quote, wetter than ever. Of course, we all went to the relaunch gala last night, and whew, what a night it was.
Is beautiful.
Soaking wet night.
Unsurprising that a museum of wet would have condensation issues.
Yeah.
It's shocking they didn't anticipate that and have any sort of contingencies.
I would have thought they would have had a much more, I don't know, sturdy dehumidifier system
Yeah.
set up. Like,
And to make it out of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And there was no ventilation inside for the longest time.
Like, surely someone would have brought this up in the planning stages.
You would think the number one stage of planning, they'd be like, hey guys, we really need to make sure we're ready for the wetness.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that Romulus, when he was presumably pitching this museum, went, so we want to do a museum of wet. How we gonna wet?
How do we wet? Where do we wet? Why do we wet? But wet we must. And that's why I'm glad this museum exists now.
His
For
immortal
all the
words.
lovely things that we've pulled out of the sea.
Mhm.
And keeping them wet kind of keeps the natural, you know,
Yeah.
you can imagine the excitement of finding them under the sea. And,
Oh,
It's so
Yeah.
disappointing to see something that used to be wet now be dry.
yeah,
it's really sad.
it
It's
takes the
taking it out-
magic away.
Exactly. It's like going to a zoo. You're like, this is not natural.
It's not its
No.
natural environment.
It's
Yeah.
like when they, in the film Jaws, when they caught a shark that they thought was Jaws and they hung him on dry land to parade around everyone and be like, that's the Jaws. And you as the audience were like, I don't think that's Jaws because that's too small a shark. And I'm no shark expert, but I'm pretty sure the shark doing all this mischief is a bigger shark.
Mischief.
But
We're
it
going to
was,
need a bigger shark.
it was real sad to see a glorious shark now real dry and dead.
Yeah.
That shark didn't do anything to anyone.
It takes all of the glory out of that shark.
Yeah.
And taking this treasure and various things that have been rustled up from the sea, out of the sea, takes away all of the gravitas from them as well. And yeah, all the majesty.
Now, a lot of the exhibits in the museum are just aquariums of water with nothing else, but it's like
But
this.
from different areas.
Exactly. It's like this is water from this section of the ocean.
Off the west coast of Driftwood.
Yeah.
This is water off the east coast.
And it all looks exactly the same, but there's placards saying how it's different.
Yeah,
And you
in terms
gotta-
of the molecules inside.
Exactly.
You just have to take their word for
You
it.
got to take their word for it. A lot of stuff in museum, you're telling me that this was, I don't know, part of the Roman Empire. I don't know.
I guess.
You're
if you say
telling me
so.
that you got this by legitimate means. Okay, sure, museum.
Was all above board and
Yeah.
everyone
This
was cool
was
with it.
Acquired. Sure.
Yeah,
Donated.
gifted in all the right ways with the paper trail. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's also just like a bucket of tap water for the modern day section, contemporary section.
Which, of course, you cannot drink out of.
No,
Nor pee into.
as we learned last night. They killed that guy.
It was like a harsh but fair punishment.
Yeah.
Everyone was okay with it.
It was a fun event. And then
He
that
was okay
happened.
with it.
I wasn't going to let that ruin the buzz.
He understood his fate when it was happening. He's like,
I think it was
you guys
his
are right.
idea almost. It was like, I might as well.
Yeah.
Also, who knew that security would have electric tasers in such a wet place? Like, I don't think they knew the death was coming. I think they just wanted to tase a man.
I think one of them hesitated because he was worried that it would then that it would tase us all by releasing an electronic current. They were worried that would
But when
transmit through the mist in the air.
We all then said, no, it's cool, go for it. We aren't convinced it won't happen, but we're happy to let a test happen in front of us. Like, we all consent to seeing what happens.
And then we did find out that he wore rubber shoes, even though all of us were soaking wet at the time. But because of the shoes, it was fine. We didn't know that at first. It was
Science
a big
is
robe.
amazing.
We learned that.
It was such a learning moment for all of us.
You learn a lot in the
Which
Museum
is,
of Wet.
that is what you're supposed to experience in any
You learn
museum.
a lot in the Museum of Wet is a real good tagline.
And it's what is wet? You know, at what point does something become moist versus wet?
Yep.
And of course,
There's a difference. There's clammy, then there's moist, then there's wet.
and there's, of course, the big question that they pose sort of at the beginning when you enter and then again when you leave, which is water wet?
See, I also think that you can get damp, which isn't wet. I think damp and wet are two separate things. I also believe there are some states of rain that I would call wet rain, which are different to other kinds of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's
not
just kind
all,
of just a misty rain.
yeah. But some rains will leave you wet and some rains will not. So it's nice
Fat
that
droplets.
someone has finally pulled these all together to be like, no, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's create definitions. Let's put them all in a museum for future generations so that they too do not have to go through this awkward, horrible, learning journey themselves.
Wrestle with this
Yeah.
internally.
Penny, you're getting so impassioned.
Sometimes you just find yourself awake at night being like, oh, but is that wet? Or is that just, just like a je ne sais quoi?
Indeed. Well, as you said, damp earlier. That's like an internal wetness, but not an external wetness.
I
Like
think,
something
yeah.
that's damp is not the outside of it. The exterior isn't slick. It's
No.
not, slippery and wet. But
Unless-
internally, it is wet.
Unless it's your sourdough, which is externally damp and
If
internally.
you put that in water,
Yeah.
it will be very, very wet. It has some innate wetness to it on its spongy exterior as well. But that's just part of the creation of it.
You just, you know what? Just hearing you describe again your sourdough makes my
It's
water
tasty.
wet.
It sounds tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think this is
Should I crack open a loaf?
crack open a loaf.
You don't slice
do
it.
it.
You have to crack it open
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a coconut.
It's,
A wet, slimy coconut.
Indeed. Yeah. My sourdough, of course, it has a spongy exterior. Any listeners who don't know about my sourdough, it has a spongy exterior and a hard, crispy center.
We love it. We love it.
It's
folks.
delicious.
and you know what else we love? The Museum of Wet. We highly recommend it. It was a fantastic opening night, a fantastic party they held. We had a great time. Really enjoyed the canapes. Really enjoyed the entertainment they put on. I know that technically the killing of the man was not classed officially as entertainment, but you really take what you get on
It
the
created
menu.
a natural finale.
Really, really interesting. Gripping, lots of dramatic points, real 3-beat structure. Real
Yeah,
all-round
the 3-beat structure of he's going to pee in that bucket. And
He's
then,
peeing
oh
in
my
the
God, he's
bucket.
peeing in the bucket. What's going to
Uh-oh.
happen? And then now he's dead.
And of course, there was the one moment, I can't believe we didn't mention this already, where they did have everyone leave the main hall and we just went on the viewing balconies and they flooded the main hall and put the sharks in there. That was just incredible. And the way they did that made sense.
Mm. In terms of the arc of the evening, it
Yeah.
was like, I didn't predict this, but
I'm cool with it.
makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It's like when you watch a film and you're like, wow, I never saw this coming, but now that it's happened, it feels like the perfect
Yes.
summation and endpoint
Yes.
for this
Hidden
narrative.
Figures.
And what?
Like Hidden Figures.
Exactly, like Hidden Figures. Cannot give enough roses and flowers to Hidden Figures. Bless that film.
Plus that film.
And with that, I'm going to take it to our next commercial break. And welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood. Penny, what do you have for us today?
Pretty serious message from the Crafters Association of Driftwood, CAD, as they are known. They've put out an urgent and desperate plea. Please stop taking up pottery as a hobby. It has come to this. They have put an official announcement. The Isles are now at max potters, an emergency warning level when there are too many potters and not enough other crafts. We have officially too many people doing pottery. You all need to stop now. Okay. Craft fairs are all artisanal potters now making fun little bowls that are too small to feasibly use for anything useful and are definitely not dishwasher friendly. So with all the best will in the world, sure, you'll buy it, but you'll pop it in the cupboard and you'll choose a more time efficient option for your snacks. Okay. We gotta put an end to this. Okay. Only a certain number of people can do pottery. Some of the rest of you are going to have to take up other crafts if we are to keep the craft fairs really diverse and with enough options that are useful, okay? They understand this is the sexy new thing to be like, we get it.
So sexy.
So
Oh, it's so
sexy.
intuitive and feeling the earth in your hands.
Yeah, who doesn't want to wear that apron and wipe the sweat from your brow with a clay-covered hand? Like, we get it. But CAD are begging for volunteers to give up pottery, put the potter's wheel away, take up knitting or crochet. They are
Not as sexy.
absolutely in desperate
But
need of
so
some...
valuable. You know,
Yeah.
you can wear those things and keep warm.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's not as sexy,
No.
but more needed.
This is it. They're in desperate need of tea cozies and scarves. Okay, someone's got to make this. And you know what? They don't work when they're made of clay. You're going to give me a tea cozy to put around a teapot to keep the tea warm for longer
It's like an
and
armor.
make that out of clay? Exactly. It's like an armor. What's it going to do? Be on the front line of the battlefield against the French archers? No.
You make it sound cool.
It's true. You're
This
making
is
it
the
sound
problem
really
because
cool.
pottery's just inherently the cool thing, isn't it?
It's like
Armor's cooler than warmth.
Well, I wish these people were making more armor related things. You said it's too impractically small, like
Yeah.
bowls and things. It's like, oh, you can put your keys in it. No one does that,
No
first of
one.
all. And how many of those do you need?
That's going to be a real tiny swingers party if it's just one of those tiny little artisanal bowls and you put like one set of keys in it and then it's like, well, guess I'm going home with myself.
Yeah,
Like, whoop-de-doo. You were doing that anyway. You didn't need the bowl for that.
to tell you that.
Too many potters.
Too many potters.
Potters. I like to keep my keys in my pocket at all time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Why are you taking your keys out of your pocket ever?
Well, to open the door.
Other than that,
No.
once you go inside,
Still keep
right
them.
back in my pocket.
That's how I don't lose them.
Yeah,
What if you change trousers?
Then I move the keys.
switch them over.
Mm,
It's more about them
Immediately.
being on me rather than being in one specific set of
got you. That's
trousers.
what I was trying to clarify.
Yeah.
So you do wear more than one pair of pants?
I can confirm I wear more than one pair of pants. Not at
Okay,
the same
but they
time.
are all that color because I notice you don't wear any different.
Yeah.
They always look the same.
Very similar
but
style
they
and
are
color.
Yeah, it's
different
called.
pairs.
They're jeans.
Yeah.
I
okay.
wear jeans.
But yeah, you
Every
can get
day.
different styles of jeans, like
No.
a bell bottom or
No.
a straight leg or a slim fit
That's a
or a
myth.
high waisted
That's a myth. That's not
No,
real.
they sell
or a
those.
skinny. Those
Where
are
do you get your
definitely
jeans?
things.
Oh, I have a guy.
Okay, well then I guess your guy just sells the one kind, but
Yeah.
they do have multiple styles.
Those
Yeah.
are
available.
optical illusions. If you actually
Those
I
compare
are-
them
love
side by side,
love a boot cut myself.
it's
Mhm.
all the same. They're
It's
ripping you
not
off.
though. It's wider.
It's got more
No.
fabric.
Yeah.
than-
You think it is because it's an optical illusion. If you put them If you compare them with any other pair of jeans, you'll see that it lines up perfectly.
They just tell me it's boot cut?
Yeah. It's
I'm
advertising.
skeptical of this.
I'm also skeptical of this.
Wow. So you rather believe big ads rather than your pal.
And his guy.
Yeah.
And his jean guy.
Okay, I
Like,
make my
we
own
are-
jeans. I don't have a guy. It's me. I'm
well,
the guy.
there you go.
Yeah, like
I'm the guy
today.
now.
Today I am wearing a straight leg, high waisted jean, and Dirk is wearing a little flare to go with his boots.
Mhm.
And you were telling us that these are all the same pair of jeans.
Of course not. They look different on you because you are different people.
Okay,
and it's
no.
going to look different on
No.
This
another
ankle
person.
cut would not fit around my boots if it was a normal straight leg.
Have you tried?
Oh, no, because I wouldn't. Why? It would
Yeah,
just get
it needs-
stuck.
Would it?
His cowboy
Yes.
boot needs.
Why? Because big advertising, because Big Gap is
Because of
telling you
fabric and how much it can
Logic.
stretch.
Yeah.
fabric stretches, exactly. Fabric fills
But
whatever
to an extent.
container
Yeah,
it's on.
I'm also pretty
I don't
sure
think
jeans
you're
weren't
like
supposed
the
to stretch
fabric-
that much.
Yeah. Also, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Denim is notoriously inflexible.
Sturdy, yeah.
Again, that's
That's why
just
it
another
lasts.
lie. That's just another lie they tell you.
So it's not, but you're the one who's telling us it's more flexible than ever.
Yeah.
Pull your jeans right now.
Pull my cheek.
Take
Tuck a little bit of thigh jean.
yeah, grab a little bit of that and pull it. There's
There's
zero stretch to that.
There's a good amount of stretch there.
Not much.
There's some. Well, these are not my workout jeans.
You have workout
Of
jeans.
course, don't
I
be
think you're
silly.
doing
those are
leg
stretchy?
presses on the workout jeans. That's
Well, they're
going to cut up
stretchy.
the back of the knee.
You're gonna split that
No.
bottom, buddy.
Yeah.
I haven't. They're very flexible. Again, you can also make them from like breathable materials.
Okay, that's not denim anymore.
Yeah,
course it is.
That's a synthetic. It's
No,
a blend.
that's denim though.
It's really not.
It is.
Brother.
Here's the thing though. It is,
You're the one. You said you make them yourself, though.
Yeah. and I make them all out of denim.
What are you doing to that denim to give it that stretch?
I add some polyester to it.
So there you go. That's what we're talking about. And it's no longer denim if you add polyester to it. That's a blend. It's a synthetic blend.
Dirk, if you
This
I don't
whole
know.
like denim and jeans are a construct of your mind theory that you have, I kind of applaud it in a way, but I don't think it's practical with regards to your clothing.
Hear me out, Dirk. If you eat a burger, are you now part burger or are you still Dirk?
This doesn't make any sense in the
That's
logic
not
of the
at all.
previous
Just because you
conversation.
add something to one thing doesn't inherently change what it always has been.
But that's different to like okay, but like eating and
Kinda
consuming.
makes sense.
No, it doesn't
Dirk
make
is-
sense.
Dirk,
It doesn't
come on,
make
you gotta
sense.
see it.
You're eating some fuel here. The cotton is not eating the polyester. You
Why
are
not?
Good
You are
point.
putting a
I'm back
blend
on.
together.
I'm
Thank
back on
God,
Penny's
yeah.
side.
What is sewing if not one fabric eating another?
That's literally not
That's
it.
also a good
no,
point.
no, that's not it. Dirk,
I
that's
feel
not
like I'm
it.
leaning
Because
back
when you
over towards
eat it,
bench now.
no. Because when you eat the food, it doesn't just stick to you the way it was. You're chewing it up, you're turning it into thing, and then your body's digesting it. The stitches on your jumper are not getting digested.
That's true, because then once I process the food, I will be no longer hamburger.
Yeah.
I will still be Dirk. Okay,
whereas
I'm back.
Dirk.
your shirt's
I'm
going
back
to keep
with-
its stitches. They're going to stay there.
Yeah, okay, I'm back on Penny's side. With
Remember
this.
that skin graft you got?
Yeah,
That was sewed onto you.
but that was my skin.
There was a skin back
Yeah,
on
but it was a
them.
different part of your skin onto
Yeah.
your skin.
But that would be like doing patched denim. That doesn't make any sense. That's a thing. Like if you got a hole
But
in your
if
jeans,
patched
you would just
denim is
patch
still
over
denim,
the top of it.
Well, but what does it matter if you patch it with something that has extra? You think the
This-
threaded material on the jeans is also denim? Of course not. That's
Probably,
ridiculous.
right?
No, of course not. That's ridiculous.
Is it
Don't
not?
make No. The zipper? What do you think that's made of?
Zipper. Teeth and metal.
Does that make it not denim?
That bit's not
Well,
denim.
that's a separate part that's attached, right?
It's part of
That
the,
just
it's part
is
of
the
the jeans.
functionality of the trouser.
Well,
It's
okay.
function. It's functionality.
And the workout jeans that I wear have the polyester materials for their functionality.
But then I don't think you can technically call them jeans anymore. Like it's
That's
just,
true. Then they're just pants.
It'd be like is it a dress or is it a pair of trousers? Very much on the cut, the finish, the style.
Which are all the same.
They're not all the same.
Not all the same.
I think they
Bench.
are.
I think a
almost
dress
got
is
you.
the same as jeans.
No, don't be ridiculous. I think all trousers are jeans.
Bench. This is insane.
It feels like a philosophical issue for you, Bench,
it
at this
feels-
point.
Most things are.
It feels like you've thought about
That's
this.
deep.
You've thought about this for too long, but you've came to all the wrong conclusions.
I think I thought about this for the appropriate amount of time and got to the correct conclusions.
You've taken yourself in a very long, winding road, and I don't think you know where you are at the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll meet a minotaur.
Wow.
Dang. Maybe he will.
And maybe that Minotaur will slap some sense into you.
Indeed.
There you go.
Finally, he did it in a way that made sense.
Done,
Oh,
Bench.
finally.
Oh no! Why'd you ruin it with the ring a
No,
ding
let's keep going.
ding?
This is
Don't
good.
do
This is good.
You don't do two back to back.
You can't do two back to back. It's too much of a spicy chimichanga. And on that note, we're going to keep it to an extended break. And Good Morning Driftwood is brought to you by Luther T. Billingham's Talk to Me Therapy. Got stuff you need to talk about? Tell Luther T. Billingham. He won't tell anybody. Do you have doubts, anxieties, fears? Well, go talk to Luther T. Billingham, also known as the Master of Fear, and he will conquer your fear and anxiety. Have you been through a traumatic experience? Tell Luther T. Billingham. He loves hearing about that stuff. The T stands for trauma. Go tell him all your fears and trauma, and he will crush them with his powerful mind and hands. Master of Fear, Luther Trauma Billingham, we thank you for your sponsorship. For Good Morning Driftwood, we'll see you soon. Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.